Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shamika and this is Check the Rhymes. I am super excited that you're here. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all, the revolution will be televised. And I gotta throw up the fist because it just felt appropriate, you know? Anyway, you're like, what are you talking about? Who is in the house today? Well, hold on, I'm gonna tell you. It is Dr. Christian Gregory. He is the son of the late, great comedian and activist Dick Gregory. So I'm super excited about this because we're going to be chatting about a new documentary that's kicking off this week. It's called The Right to Offend, The Black Comedy Revolution. It's a 2-night documentary event, y'all. So Wednesday, June 29th, it kicks off at 9 o'clock. And then the second part is on Thursday, June 30th. Again, it's at 9 o'clock. And both of those are on A&E. So don't forget to tune in. So we're going to talk to Dr. Gregory about what we can expect to learn in this documentary and more. Stay tuned. You definitely don't want to miss today's show.
Shamika, hello. How are you? Christian Gregory here. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome to Check the Rhymes. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking.
I am super excited about this documentary, Right to Offend, the Black Comedy Revolution. I can't even talk this morning. What is, you know, for people that haven't seen the trailer, which I love the trailer and just, I'm ready to watch it like right now. But for those that haven't seen the trailer, what can we expect to learn from this documentary?
Well, I mean, thank you for having me, Shamika. This documentary, Right to Offend, it speaks to so much about the yesterday's climate and our current climate and how important of a role comedy played in helping to heal the nation and ultimately the world. The documentary does a fantastic job of really giving comedians giving their flowers to their forefathers and foremothers of comedy. Everyone from Dick Gregory, Richard Pryor, to Moms Mabley, Red Fox. It takes the time for the contemporaries to look back at the revolutionaries and say thank you, but also you see how the foundational aspect of those comedians, those forefathers and foremothers, are applied today. And it just, you know, with the digital, that was an analog time. Now in this digital world, all of their material chopped up into metadata on servers all over the world. So laughter is good medicine. It's healing. It's medicinal. So in 2022, their body of work has not gone silent. It's still just as active as ever. And this documentary does a great job showcasing that.
Now, Dr. Gregory, one of the questions that I've always kind of wondered is, you know, if your father was still here and he saw all the, you know, because it seems like every other day a comedian is getting canceled and now assaulted on stage, all these things, what do you think he would think?
Nothing ever surprised Dick Gregory. I'm sure that's no surprise to you.
Not at all.
Nothing ever rattled his cage. You know, here's a man who, in the early '60s, segregated, very racist time, stood on a stage and engaged with, you know, a Southern white businessman male delegation. So you got no more cancel culture than the type of things. I mean, people were literally getting canceled back then, like their lives taken and going missing and disappearing and attacked by police during the civil rights movement. So I want to be clear, and what we're dealing with today is kind of a digital canceling. And I think that he would tell these comedians and across the board to be mindful, to calibrate this properly, but also to carry on. Comedians are no strangers to hecklers. In a sense, this canceling is a form of heckling. And, you know, the important thing about right to offend, comedians have a right to offend based on the domain, location. If you come into my comedy club and I'm performing a show, if you're enjoying that, if you don't like it, you can get up and leave. You can hit stop on whatever link you're listening to me. So it's not like these comedians are running up to you while you're enjoying your morning coffee and just, you know, bombastically coming at you with jokes and material that's offensive. That's why the title, Right to Offend, in the Black Comedy Evolution. My dad always felt that evolution was an extension of revolution, and it was important for folks to, you know, to come together, like minds, and really advocate for those who are marginalized. And we see comedians doing a great job at that. They don't always have to be on the same side of issues. It's that type of agitation that helps us to see the world in a more kind of holistic, full spectrum way.
Absolutely. And it just also makes me think of how some of these comedians are even attacking each other in that digital space. And I don't want to mention names, but I'm sure you probably know who I'm talking about. But
yes.
Yeah.
And when you say that, it makes me think of, towards my dad went back to comedy towards the end of his life. He was dealing with some health issues, right. And as a younger Dick Gregory, his brain did a great job kind of sequestering comedy that was appropriate for the venue. As I frequently say, no country for old legends. As we get older, and some of the language started to bleed through, we had a couple high schools call and complain. So we said, you know what, we probably should encourage gently, because no one told Dick Gregory what to do, to be very clear, but to encourage him that he was still wildly funny. And so he wound up going on tour with the legendary Paul Mooney. The two of them were the godfathers of comedy. And the beauty of seeing these two comedy icons, both stories depicted so well in The Right to Offend, be so protective about, don't anyone say one of us are opening for the other. It was a who goes first, who's feeling better today, so they'll open up. It wasn't, or they'll go first. They got some of their staff and some of the comedy club venue staff really got a stern talking to from either Dick Gregory or Paul Mooney if they ever belittled the other. They were great friends, and a lot of today's, to the point you just mentioned, we can learn a lot from our comedy elders. I mean, we can learn a lot about decorum and class, and we're not always going to be on message. And that's the diversity in comedy is what makes it so strong. There is no one person that speaks for black folks or white folks, and this shows that they're independent thinkers, and they push the buttons and tug at the envelope to make us all kind of think outside the box and realize it's bigger than this moment, and there's really not anything that's truly new.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I want to thank you so much I wish we could chat even longer because I have more questions, but thank you for joining me today on Check the Right to Offend, everybody. The Black Comedy Revolution is two-night documentary event, premieres June 29th at 9:00 on A&E. It's a two-night event, y'all. So thank you again. Have a good day.
Take care. Thank you.